Hello and welcome to story time. I am guest storytelling again, which means we're going to do part 3 of the Giggler Treatment. We're going to pick up right where we left off, and I hope you enjoy this super silly book. Okay, the chapter before the next one. Dogs don't like going to the toilet on the street, but their owners make them do it. Come on, Rover, let's go for a walk, says Rover's owner as he drags Rover to the front door. Let's go for a poo. More like, says Rover to himself. You're not fooling me. Poor Rover has to stand out on the street, usually late at night in the rain and snow, thunder and lightning, in the glare of passing car lights, and go to the toilet while his owners stare straight at him. Good boy, Rover, hurry up, says the owner. Leave me alone, says Rover to himself. My bum is cold. But Rover does his poo because he knows that he won't get back into the house if he doesn't. And then the gigglers come along. That night that Mr. Mac sent the boys up to their bedroom, Rover had done a whopper. Whoa, said the gigglers, rubbing their hands and giggling. Good old Rover, he never lets us down. There were 4 gigglers there that night, the biggest, the middle-sized, the smallest, and the one that was even smaller than the smallest. This was the first time that the even smaller than the smallest giggler had been out on a poo-finding mission, so she was very excited. Are we ready? Said the biggest one. Ready! Rubber gloves, rubber gloves. Plastic bag, plastic bag. Poo claw, poo claw. The smallest giggler lifted the poo off the path with the poo claw. This was a plastic claw like a crab's that opened and closed when she pushed a lever on its handle. The middle-sized giggler held the plastic bag open for the poo. Drop the poo, said the biggest giggler. Dropping the poo, said the smallest giggler, and she let the poo drop into the plastic bag. Catching the poo, said the middle-sized giggler, and she closed the bag. Well done, said the biggest giggler. 20 pence? 20 pence, said the even smaller than the smallest giggler. This was her big moment. She took the money from the pouch that covered her green tummy. Her tummy was green because Rover had left the poo right beside a green car. She held it up in the air. 20 pence. Good, said the biggest one. Let's go. The money was for Rover. The gigglers always paid for their poo. Rover, Rover! The smallest giggler held the letterbox open as the biggest one whisper shouted into the hall of Rover's house. Rover was upstairs sitting on the toilet. He always did this when his owner had gone to bed. His owner could never understand how the dog hair got onto the toilet seat or how paw prints got onto the toilet paper. All dogs do this, and they never ever, get caught. What now? Said Rover. Can a dog have no peace? He wiped his bum and flushed the toilet, washed his paws and dried them, and went down to the hall. Rover, by the way, was the great, keep on saying great for 20 minutes, grandson of Bran, the Irish wolfhound. Rover saw a giggler hand sticking through the letterbox holding a 20-pence piece. The door was red. The hand was red. He took the coin. Thanks, Rover, said the even smaller than the smallest giggler. That was a classic. You reckon, said Rover, because it's hard to say, you're welcome. when you are holding a 20-pence piece between your teeth. Rover went into the kitchen. He found the big bone his owner had given him earlier that day. Rover's owners, by the way, was great, keep on saying great for 2 hours and 37 minutes, grandson of the first caveman. The bone was on the mat. Rover held the bone between his paws and pushed the 20-pence piece into the hollow part where the marrow used to be. Rover's owners loved him. He loved the way he shook himself when he was wet. He loved the way he pulled the letters through the letter box when the postman was delivering them. And he didn't mind a bit when Rover made the letters soggy. He was such a clever dog. He could beg, he could fetch sticks, what his owner didn't know, and there's Rover. What nobody else knew was that Rover was a millionaire. Rover had buried over £1,000,000, all in 20-pence pieces and all inside hollow bones in his owner's back garden. All of that money had been given to him by the Gigglers. "Oh, look at Rover burying the bone. Isn't he clever?" "Ha ha ha ha," said Rover to himself. "You'll never know how clever." Rover hated bones. This chapter is named after my mother because she said I could stay up late if I named it after her. Chapter Mammy Doyle. The biggest giggler looked over the wall. 5 inches, she said. "Mackerel," said the seagull. "Yuck." This chapter is named after my fridge because it keeps all my food fresh. Chapter Fridge. At the exact same time that Mr. Mac was heading for the poo, Jimmy Mac fell off a stool in the kitchen as he leaned over to fill his mouth with porridge. The porridge bowl flipped over and landed on Robbie's head. "Ouch," said Jimmy. "Me bum." "Ouch," said Robbie. "Me head." Billie Jean came into the kitchen. She was wearing big boots and snow goggles. She had a long rope tied around her waist. She was carrying Kayla on her back, and she was sweating. Billie Jean was a mountain climber. She practiced her climbing every day by running up the stairs with Kayla on her back. She did this for 3 hours every day and rested only once for 5 minutes in a tent she'd pitched in the hall. Billie Jean wanted to climb the highest mountain in every country in the world. She'd climbed a lot of them already. In Argentina, Kenya, Australia, and lots of other countries. The first mountain she'd ever climbed was in Holland. Holland is a very flat country, and its highest mountain is only 10 feet high. It's so small, nobody had ever given it a name. But when Billie Jean got to the top, she named it Mr. Mac Mountain after her all-time favorite husband. Billie Jean, by the way, was the great, keep saying great, for 20 minutes, granddaughter of Elvis O'Leary, the little boy who tried to keep the snakes in Ireland. The next mountain Billie Jean was going to climb was Blue Mountain Peak in Jamaica. She was leaving the biggest one, Mount Everest in Nepal, until last. She wanted to wait until Kayla was older and then they could climb it together. Kayla was looking forward to it. All that running up the stairs on her mammy's back had given her a love of heights and adventures. "What happened?" said Billie Jean when she saw Jimmy on the floor. "I broke me bum," said Jimmy. She laughed. "There's half an hour to go before school," she said. "Why don't you go on out and play?" Jimmy forgot about his sore bum and ran out the back door. Bring Kayla with you, said Billie Jean. Okay, said Robbie, as he rubbed some of the porridge off his hair with a tea towel. Come on, Kayla. He put Kayla on his shoulders. Hang on to my hair, he said. Abba? Said Kayla. It's okay. It's only porridge. They ran out to the front of the house and played with the burst ball. Kayla sat on the top of the wall and pretended she was on top of Mount Everest. She was a good balancer, but just to be safe, the boys had stuck wet chewing gum to the wall and put her down on top of it. She was very happy up there, watching the leaves tickling one another on the trees above her, and her mad brothers playing below her. Robbie was the goalkeeper, and Jimmy kicked the ball to him. Robbie's hands missed the ball, but he caught it with his face. It bounced off his nose, hit Jimmy's elbow, and bounced again under an old drum. Ouch, said Jimmy. Me elbow. Ouch, said Jimmy. Me toes. The drum was upside down and heavy, too heavy for the boys to lift. It had been there for years, since long before the Macks had lived there. Mr. Mack said that it had fallen out of the sky and that the Wicked Witch of the East was under it. But the Mack brothers weren't sure about that. Anyway, the ball was under it now. Now what do we do? Said Robbie. Abba? Said Kayla. Good idea, Kayla, said Robbie. The boys ran off and got one of Billie Jean's mountain climbing ropes from the shed. They came back and tied one end of the rope to the oil drum. Then they threw the other end up over a branch of the tree. Now what? Said Jimmy. Abba! Brilliant idea. They lifted Kayla until she held the other end of the rope. She was dangling happy, but she wasn't heavy enough to budge the bin. Abba! She said. Mega brilliant idea. The boys gathered some stones and put them into Kayla's nappy. She became heavier and heavier. As she dropped slowly to the ground, the bin was slowly lifted, and there was soon a space big enough for Jimmy, and he crawled under the drum. Can you see the ball? Shouted Robbie. No, shouted Jimmy. Well, what can you see? A monster! Okay, that ends today's section, part 3 of the Giggler Treatment. I hope you're following along because it's so much fun. Miss Melissa should be back next week with story time. If not, I'll be here again. Hope you're all having a nice week and see you next time.